There it is.
Survivor Specialist Phil and Alexa are back, and we are doing our first four-person podcast today for our Edge of Extinction episode 12 predictions and power rankings with both Alec Merlino and Kara K. Thank you both so much for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, dude. Thank you for having me, bro.
Any chance to talk about Survivor we're in.
I'm really excited to see how this is going to play. We can control like when there's one person, but now when there's two, like you guys almost outnumber us. So this is going to be intense.
We're pretty unpredictable. So
it's gonna be good. We have a lot of good juicy info, so we're ready.
Yeah.
Give us your takes.
Yeah,
let's hear everything.
So.
Yeah, I have all the inside scoop, if you know what I
...
mean.
That's why.
So Alec's power rankings are straight spoilers. Everybody else's is just a guess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I guess it was 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago now. You were all at the War Dog watch party, and that was where I ran into you again, and we were talking about who was going to win this season. And Alec had very strong opinions on my winner pick. He was really giving it to me, much like all the comments do every single week. But who are we thinking now, Alec and Kara? Who is going to win Survivor Edge of Extinction?
Well, who did I say when I was with you? I can't remember because I was a bit.
You said I forget who you said. I think you might have said Lauren, but I just kept saying Victoria, and you were just like, no, she's done nothing. No. He just kept giving it. I put my hands up. I don't know what to do here.
So, is that what I said, Lauren? I still think Lauren has a good chance. I think I have three. Are we just gonna go right into our power rankings?
Oh, we don't. I mean, it's up to you if you want to just start doing the power rankings now, or if you just want to talk about who you think is going to win. I mean, you can do whatever you want here.
No, we don't have. I think right now it's Gavin, Rick, Devens, and Lauren.
So you won't even put Victoria in your top three.
She's in the bottom half for you.
They haven't shown. I'm sure she's done stuff. Like she's been on every vote, but they haven't. As a viewer, you haven't seen like a huge game. I'm sure she has had a huge game, but they're not going to you can't just pack in an entire resume that's worthy of the title in one episode, right?
Yeah, I guess. I just feel like there's been little things, but I seriously got yelled at in the comments last week, like exclamation points and everything. Like for Phil, we don't need to hear about your love of Victoria.
I think it might have been in all caps. I think it might have been in all caps too, which is like big for the internet.
Kara, have you joined the dark side yet or no?
I'm always on the dark side, but I don't know. I think Victoria, I actually love her game, but she isn't my winner pick for a couple different reasons. Like the fact that it's not an outwardly showy game, so there's a lot of making up to do. And my for sure winner pick, it just came out confirmed it for me this last episode. I really think Gavin's winning this one. I mean, I was like tearing up. I mean, the fact that he skipped his wedding is huge, but a lot of people have huge stories that they don't get on an episode. And so I think that we're getting emotionally attached to Gavin in ways that we aren't to other people. And I really think that he's kind of like playing a game similar to Nick Wilson. He's like kind of there. He's on everyone's side. You don't want to target him. He hasn't been targeted, but he's doing really well. Yeah, it's very impressive.
Yeah, he's in really well with the girls. And I think what's interesting is 3 or 4 weeks ago, I would have never even said Gavin. Gavin was so low on my radar. And then the last couple of weeks, he's been insane. He's been all over the place. I still don't think he pulls it out because he is he's such a threat for immunity. Everybody knows he's a threat because of like this whole girlfriend story. And he has to be a jury threat, not on Rick's level, but he has to be somewhat. But I don't know. You could probably convince me that that's right because when I look at the 6 people who are left, I'm not convinced of any of them being the winner. So.
If Rick gets voted out, I bet Gavin wins.
Okay.
Yeah, because I feel like other than Rick, no one has been particularly flashy. So if Rick doesn't win, the winner's going to have like a pretty, not quiet game, but like they're not going to be super obvious to us.
Yeah. And so I was the only one who actually talked about this episode live because Alexa wasn't here on Wednesday. So everybody, what does everybody think of Rick Devens? Whoever wants to go first, go.
I think Rick's sick.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, I liked him from the beginning, and then he threw like a little fit, but that could just be editing. Remember with like David or whatever?
It was War Dog when he said we both watched it together. When he looked at War Dog, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll totally vote for you," or vote with you. And he's like, "Why would I do that?" Like that rubbed me a little bit the wrong way because, in my opinion, you have to like keep your options open. But then he saved himself.
I just think it's funny. People hate him. Like he found an idol like at night and stuff, climbing up.
That was unreal.
He's had the best game out of all of them. I think one of them, him and Gavin. I think he's just. I don't know. He's doing more to keep his ass in the game, which I respect. You know what I mean? He's a target, and so it forces you to game, and like when you're forced to game, it comes out on the edit, and so. Like I don't think it's just an editing perspective either. I don't think they're just doing it to make him look like he has the flashiest game. It's like, dude, if someone else had like a big game like him, they would put it in.
Yeah.
Clearly they don't because they're not putting it in there. So I think he's in the best game.
Yeah. I'd like to think if anybody else was in Rick's position where like they've been on the outs for a month's worth of TV, they would also be playing as aggressively as him. Like I have to imagine that everyone would be like that. So I love him. I loved how that tribal council went. I don't think it was too showy. I thought it was perfect. And I don't know. I think Phil, I assume you asked that because like the internet has been unrealistically against him. I think people don't like to watch, like for whatever reason, people don't like to watch an episode where it's focused on one person, but like that's going to happen. And it was Gavin's episode too. Like you said, Kara, no one really knew that he had to move his wedding for this. Like that's crazy. So I have no problem with Rick. I love Rick. He had a really rough episode when he, like, what was it, 6 weeks ago when he yelled at War Dog, and now he's fine.
Yeah.
And well, sorry, I was gonna say he's probably just passionate because he's getting vengeance from Ron trying to give him an expired coupon, basically.
Yeah, if someone tried to embarrass me on national television, I'd be pretty pissed too.
Yeah, so I get now. I had to process it because at the time I was like, "Whoa, this is a lot." But I feel like I would have done something similar in that sense that you're mad and you can't wait to make that person who made you feel badly give him vengeance.
I knew he would do that too.
Yeah.
I loved that.
Yeah, take this credit card and go buy a dinner for all your friends.
Yeah.
Sorry, bro. There's no money on
3-ingredient menu there.
Here, use this one. That was cool. I like what he did.
Yeah, and you were both on the jury. So if you're on the jury and you're trying to figure out who you're going to vote for in the end, he throws Ron and Julie under the bus right there because it was them who did that. You like that as a jury, right? I mean, this jury definitely ate it up, but would you like that as a jury if it's a player you actually like versus, I guess it depends if you like the player or not, but do you like the move?
I think it's on a level of how much you respect the game.
As I remember, the more boring the tribal council, after you're off and you're on the jury, I just wanted to root for whoever. It was like, because I wasn't in the game, I'm like, well, I'm not going to win, so you're right. So, but every time there was something exciting that happened, like an idol was played or there was a stolen vote or it was just, jury wants exciting stuff. It's like everyone watching. You don't want boring shit.
You want to rep your season well, and you like half of that has to do with the tricks that go along with it. Playing an idol correctly, it's the only idol that's been played correctly the entire game. So in that
one period, right?
Yeah, the only idol played.
Isn't that the only thing that's ever been played at Tribal so far?
I think on this season, because the extra vote got used too this week, but that was
tonight. But otherwise, that was it.
Yeah.
See, so it's like it's exciting, dude. And used right, and two, you can say anything you want, but then once like the final tribal comes, everything comes out in the wash. So
yeah, and I think right now from what I'm watching, I'm loving watching all of these tribals. Every tribal since the Julia Carter one has been really exciting and really unpredictable and really fun to watch. And I would honestly love if all of this keeps going on and then the final three is Lauren, Victoria, and Julie, or Lauren, Victoria, and Aurora, because it would just be like I still have no idea who's going to win despite watching all of the craziness from every single episode before.
Lauren, Victoria, and Julia.
Well, yeah. Julie and Julia,
or Julia could be.
Or Julia if Julia somehow wins the
not a crazy take.
I think Lauren would win that three, or Victoria.
Yeah. Because Lauren got some emotional stuff this week with her dad, but it wasn't
He did.
overly done. And Victoria, I think, actually got more this week than like she had 2 confessionals, which everybody counts the confessionals, but her confessionals were long and it set up who was going home. It set up that she was pissed off at Ron.
Victoria.
Yeah, exactly. You know, the winner of Survivor Edge of Extinction.
No, you guys, there's like I never looked at Survivor like that. It sounds like there's certain ingredients that go into a winner because you're saying, oh yeah, she got an emotional confessional, and so is that normal? Do you have to have an emotional confessional to win?
I mean, we say that, but we're not really accurate most of the time. So,
Yeah.
Pretty much just about everyone did last season.
yeah, everyone was crying.
You want your winner to be as well-rounded as possible, though, because like if you get like a sociopath like Russell Hantz, you don't like if he were to win, you would have had to find somewhere of him crying, even if it was just like I don't even know why he would cry. But
he would possibly.
You would want to find that moment. I mean, I think even Denise Stapley, who played such kind of like a robotic game, she cries at her final tribal, and they give her that moment. So I don't know. Yeah, that's just whatever. But then we also have 10 people on Edge of Extinction, so that's not going to happen this week. But do we have like a prediction for? Well, I guess we're going to talk about who's going to be voted out here. But do we have a prediction for who's coming back from Edge of Extinction? And are we still digging Edge of Extinction?
There's 6 people left, right?
And 10 people on Edge of Extinction. Yeah.
And there's something comes up in the preview. That Chris comes with a box or something.
Yeah, doesn't one person come back this episode?
Oh, is it this episode?
For sure. And then one just gets voted out, and then it's back down to 6 for the finale episode, which is the 14th.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
I didn't know that.
Oh man, this changes everything.
You like that, bro? Spoiler.
Oh my
Spoiler.
God.
There it is.
This is what we get for a short turnaround. This is what happens when we don't podcast on Sunday. I wasn't prepared.
This is why we do 4 people, and we all come together and collaborate.
Oh my God!
So that's confirmed.
Learned.
Is that definitely confirmed? I'm like,
Alec knows all spoilers.
But let's just say, I know what I'm talking about.
For those of you who are listening on iTunes and can't see us, Alec looks super sketchy right now.
Okay, well, who comes back from Edge of Extinction then? If it is this week, which I'm assuming I assumed
possibly.
It wasn't.
It's Chris.
Chris. Okay.
Yeah.
With confidence.
It has to be. Yeah, for sure.
And then he just gets voted out immediately?
You know what? We talked about that. I was laughing about that. Like, what happens when someone just they get back in and they just get voted out right again? Or I guess if you're really smart, the person they bring him along to the end because they know they won't win. Right?
If it's someone as early as someone who went out as early as Chris, and then Chris gets that final tribal, what's his story? What's he say?
That's what I think too, Alexa. It really depends on when you went out, because the players that are more recent, like War Dog, if you were to get in there, I mean, War Dog, I love you, but in challenges, I don't know.
Yikes.
I'm confident about you getting back in there. So, but if you were to get back in, I feel like he'd be a shoo-in to win. But looking at Chris, like you guys said, I think he has a good chance of getting back in. But what is he going to say at Final Tribal?
However, I survived like a month worth of Ream. Like, please give me money.
So resume. But he at least has been bonding with the people at Extinction Island. So you don't know exactly what's gone down there. If maybe there's something that they appreciate them, withstanding Extinction Island. But I don't know.
And you really think, Alec, that Chris can beat War Dog in a challenge?
Maybe, bro. Maybe.
I have War Dog the GOAT coming back. I have him coming back into the game.
Is it GOAT like? Is it GOAT like the animal goat, or is it GOAT all caps?
Whatever you want it to mean.
I wonder what the challenge will be to let him back in the game. I hope it's an epic. You know what it should be, like a willpower challenge. Where you have to stand and be like, how bad do you want to get back in the game? Although I don't know.
Hopefully that wouldn't go on for 6 hours.
Yeah, that's the challenge.
It should be. Alec, yeah,
that's what it should be. Yeah. You know what's so weird about this like the theme is I don't think anyone can win who's on Extinction. This is my opinion. Is anyone before War Dog? I just don't think they have a shot at winning, because it's like, the theme with Survivor is when someone gets voted out. Think about the last episode, the loved ones, right? Mm-hmm. We watched the episode, or at least I did. You're not even thinking about the person that was voted out. Like War Dog, it's like, oh, you don't. It's like he's out of the game. It's like you're not worried about them anymore. So it's like, how can someone like, I don't know, Aubrey come back in the game, who was voted out, and then have a chance? The viewers so far disconnected from them. And if it was someone, think about it. If it was someone that won an extinction, don't you think they'd be giving a lot more time to Extinction Island? They didn't give any confessionals to Extinction Island last episode.
Yeah, that's a good point. And jury, every time you go, every time you go to tribal, they're thinking about their winner picks. So like those people who are on Extinction Island aren't on their radar for so many tribal councils before they have to switch their mindset into thinking like, oh, that person might be the winner. But then again, I think it might be a little bit too late.
And what was it? Rick was voted out 4th, so he was only on Extinction Island for 2 boots, and then he came back in. So he wasn't there that long, and he's played – the post-merge is so much more important than the pre-merge because like that's when you're showing off your individual game. Pre-merge is just building the alliance most of the time. So I think Rick's been there for most of the important stuff, and everybody has seen what Rick is doing, where you're right. If Chris comes back in, it's like, what did you sat there on a log for 30 days?
Which is gnarly. That's like Castaway.
Super,
with the chance of getting back in the game, no real strategy talk.
He can win the Extinction Award.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Are you going to make that for him?
Yeah.
I'll do like a little prize or something.
Yeah.
The
next shirt you
I'll
make.
make an Extinction Award and give it to someone of my choice.
Yeah, put that on a surfboard.
Wow, put it on a surfboard. There it is.
You should put it on a surfboard for Reem. It's got to be Reem. I mean, Reem has to win the Extinction Award. It can't be anybody.
Completely.
Well, that's a whole nother thing. We can talk about that, and we'll figure out our winner pick for that and our power rankings and all that. But what I was going to say is, I can't remember what I was going to say. Ask me another question.
He wrote down on his piece of paper, by the way.
No.
He has the word spoilers.
Spoilers,
written down.
bro.
Whoa.
So I can't remember what I was going to say about the whole extinction thing.
Kara, jump in. Finish your
What
sentence.
were you just saying before that? Rick Devens voted. Oh no, Phil, I was going off of what you said. So kind of bouncing off what you said, just doing a little of that.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
No, you're right. The game really amps the whole merge. Once it hits merge, that's when you see what I like to call CD, character development.
Whoa, CD.
But I just don't think anyone can win from Extinction Island.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I don't, unless it's War Dog or Kelly, because they were just recently voted out.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And even then, it depends on who they're up against in the final 3, because if they go up against Rick's game no matter who you look at, his game is the most dynamic. It's the most different. He played an idol correctly, came back in the game.
Yeah.
I think no matter who you are, if you're up against Rick, you're kind of like, oh.
And I don't think any returning player will win, even if they make it back.
Mm-hmm.
No chance.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Think about the first episode of the season. The theme was they've had their chance, and that carried on throughout up until the swap. People are so against for whatever reason. Maybe I would be too. Maybe it's a thing when you get out there, you're like, it's our chance. We didn't have returning players, but maybe we would have been the same way.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. I mean, if you think about it that way, like if you walk out onto the island your first time and Christian had already played and you see Christian there, you're not going to look at Christian the same way you look at Christian now. You're going to be pissed off.
Yeah.
You hit nail on the head, Phil.
Yeah. For Boston Rob to have won the Redemption Island, he had he had to make it to the end with his people, with his
Boston Rob.
Cult.
Rob when he won Redemption Island. Like he had to have his posse with him to the end. And at this point, none of that happening.
No, exactly. The only one who had anything the only one who had an alliance was Wentworth, but it was with War Dog and Lauren, who were both planning to get rid of Wentworth at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, Alexa, are there any other questions before we get into the power rankings? I guess my main question is, how are we going to do the power rankings now, Alexa? Do we do it from our 1 to 6, and then just where would you insert Eggs of Extinction, Return E, if you were to do it? Because we have, there's a buff on the line for so many people here. So,
yeah, let's do that. So I guess we do like 7, and then just like stick the returning.
Stick the person
somewhere
in there, and then if Alec was wrong and his spoilers are wrong, then it's just 6 people, and Alec lied to all of us on our podcast.
Think about
you're really messing with us here.
Think about all the emotions that go through the people. Okay, so think about everyone on Extinction. Let's just say like they're there right now. I wonder what at least me, if I was voted out third, fourth, fifth, what kind of internal emotions would you have thinking like, yeah, I have a chance to get back in the game? I would have so much anxiety though, getting back in the game and then sitting on one of those stones, final 3. I'd have more anxiety to be thinking about what I'm gonna say. And then you get in your head and it'd be like, I wouldn't even want to at that point.
Mhm.
It'd be really hard to plead a case.
It'd be hard to plead a case. It'd be hard to try in the challenge for real. He's like, congratulations, you're back in the game. And then, you know what I mean? You make it to final 3 and I'm like, fuck.
Like, how did I get here?
Yeah, but that's you gotta utilize, you know, I've been with you guys. You, the jury, know how hard it's been. You know what I've been through, and I made it back in. We've all gone through the same challenge. That's the only card you can pull, though.
That's the only one.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Like, I guess the difference with this jury is they're all extra bored because all they're doing is sitting there all day, and they have the idea that they might get back in. So I think that's going to make the jury like the person who comes back so much more, like you guys said, because there's like clearly resentment. Like, I think you walk onto that beach and everyone just like pounces on you and then you become one of them.
It's basically like, think about it like this. All right. This is for Davey.
Okay.
Hi, Davey.
Think about any movie where there's people that you die and you turn into like a zombie or something, or the dead, right? And then they're just the dead, they're a zombie. And then the people that are alive are fighting to get the antivirus, and then they come back from the dead. The people on Extinction are dead, dude, right? So if you're dead day 3 and then you come back day 36, you're just, boom, you're back in the game. Those people that have been on the island have been gaming for 36 days. Their ass has been on the line. Versus the person on Extinction, it's like, what's whatever. You know, you have nothing to worry about. You're not going home.
Now, does your perspective change though? If let's say if Reem comes back in, she just gets dragged to the final 3 and it doesn't matter. But if let's say Chris or Eric or Wentworth or Aubrey come back into the game and they win the final 6 challenge, they win the final 5 challenge, they get voted out at 4, but they win the fire making challenge. Does your perspective change on them? Because it's like, not only did you get back into the game, you did everything you could to prove yourself in those 4 days or 5 days that you're actually going to be there.
Yeah, I think that's a good question. I think if somebody say Chris gets back in there and then he wins every single immunity until the final 3, like that's pretty impressive.
That's 3.
Yeah, you got to respect that.
Yeah, you have to respect that. That's like a
3
Michelle
immunities.
Fitzgerald game.
I would respect. I think it depends, first of all, how early they got out. Right?
Like Chris is like a lot more malnourished than Kelly.
If Chris got back in and I don't know, it's hard. Maybe 1-1 and then he was a target and somehow found a way to keep his butt in the game. That'd be cool. Just winning immunities wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Because it'd be like, oh, cool, you won. Great.
But if he wins fire.
Yeah, but then if you had to go to fire maybe and then won your way, but you just kept like your game is just consistently like being the underdog, winning your way back in, winning when it counts. That's like that. Yeah,
winning when you have to. Yeah. I think I like that.
I do too. You can consider that. You know, you don't buckle under pressure.
Yeah.
Alex about to throw the laptop, so
Alex like, screw this, I'm logging off.
Let's go to spoilers. Let's go to the spoilers.
You want to go to the spoilers? Okay. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do 1 to 6 and just drop in who your Edge of Extinction person is when we get there and what place you have them at when we go through these power rankings. I'm excited to see who everybody says now that Alec has said Chris and said it so confidently.
As a statement.
Easy.
As a statement. Well, since Alec has the spoilers, maybe he should go
first.
I was going to say last, but if you want to go first.
No. I'll go last.
Kara, who's your number 1 for this week?
Okay.
And don't
just for this
mine.
week.
Don't cheat off mine.
Yeah, it's just for this
week.
week.
Who is the safest person
Who's not going
next
home
Wednesday?
Oh, okay. I'm so glad you explained this to me because I've never done power rankings. Who is not going home this next week?
Yes.
Yeah, doesn't have to win the game, but who's making it to the finale next week or into it?
Oh, into it. Oh my, that is.
Oh, we're throwing you guys off big time.
So difficult. I'm still gonna stick with Gavin. I think no matter what, Gavin is not going home. I'm not scared about admitting that.
Okay, there you go.
There it is.
We've heard your take on Gavin, so.
Is that enough?
This should be so. The number 6 is the one who's most likely to go home next episode.
Yeah,
that should be easy. We should all know that, right?
Well, But if the Edge of Extinction thing happens, then
Well,
it should.
yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
Well, without the Edge of Extinction, we should know that.
I think we all have the same number 6 if it's not with Edge of Extinction. But
Who's your number 6?
well, no, that's the point. We got to keep everybody on the edge of their seat. Alec, if we tell them now, they're going to tune out. There's nothing to keep them.
Like, all right, guys, 20 minutes in, let's get out of here.
Yeah. Listen to this banter, and then they get the rest of the season spoiled. They don't want that.
We need banter.
All right. My number 1 hasn't changed. Alexa already knows who my number 1 is, and I just want to see if she did the same as me. So I want to say it first. But I'm going with Lauren. She's got an idol. I think Lauren's a lock at this point to sit at she's at least making Final 4. I think she's making Final 3. She had another fire comment that I think I missed on the first watch, and then somebody brought it up at the Fair Play thing where she said something else about fire, and I don't even remember. Or this is going to feel good with the fire, or the fire feels so good at Tribal Council. They're just setting up for Lauren to do something with fire.
I
So
think they're messing with you, but I agree. I noticed
Fire.
that too. Yeah.
Fire.
if they're messing with me, I still think she's making Final 3. So I got Lauren at number 1.
Okay.
That's what I think is so funny because Lauren's she made a couple fire comments, but they're just inserting like random things she says too. She said like, I'm so cold like a couple weeks ago, and there was no reason to like see that. So like, that's just what they give her, which I think like everyone else is sobbing and she's just like, man, I'm cold. And it's like out of nowhere and super random. I think it's hilarious.
It's like when Alice had like the wave crashing on her random wave.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
why? But I loved it. Yeah, I mean, Phil and I talked about this. We both have the same 1 and 2. I have Lauren at number 1. I think Lauren is like still seeming under the radar, and Vic, and I don't know if Vic, Victoria, Victoria and Aurora had a really good group of 3 last week that is probably going to remain more of a voting block than actual trust. But Lauren's got that idol and no one knows about it. And she can only use that for 2 more tribals. So, and no one's going for her anyway. So she could give that to someone and make a big move, save herself, make a big move. She's got a ton of options.
Did anybody else see the Power Buff Girls that Eric Reichenbach did?
So cute.
Incredible.
Powerpuff Girls are the original cartoon.
Oh yeah, Powerpuff.
Yeah.
And he did it with like Victoria, Lauren, and Aurora. And the Victoria one kills me because it's got the hat on. And
You're the big beanie.
with the big glasses. Yep.
Yes.
I love it. So that was fantastic. But yeah, I like that they have like their 1 episode and everybody in the Survivor Reddit community is complaining about Rick Devens having too much credit. And here comes the Powerpuff Girls. So I'm really excited that that's like the biggest thing to come out of this episode. All right, Alec, who's your number 1?
Well, okay. So, I'm just going to, my number 1 is
The spoiler number 1.
on this piece of paper.
This piece of paper is hilarious, by the way.
And
I'm going to need to see that later.
I can't wait to send this to you guys.
okay, you know what? I'm going to, so who's most likely not to go home?
I am sitting in suspense.
Yeah. I'm going to say Rick Devens.
What?
Wow, that is
Boom, baby.
spicy.
Not going home.
Never thought you'd say
Ricky,
that.
Debbie, baby.
Ricky D.
So you just asked all of us.
What?
You just asked all of us with a straight face if we were confident in who our number, like who, if we were all gonna have the same number 6. The one man who's clearly on the outside, you put at number 1. So you really wanted us to just say Rick Devens all at number 6, so you could drop that.
Rick Devens, baby.
But he wrote down on the piece of paper PK, which
No.
idea what that means.
PR,
Oh.
power rankings.
Yeah, understood.
In CD character development.
Organizing my charts right here.
I thought it was going to be PK for Peace Cat, which was War Dog, but that's what John Carroll called the War Dog. So, that's what,
So yeah, I'm gonna go with Rick Devens. He's not going home
and why are you so confident in this, Alec?
because he's final 3.
Duh.
And why are you so confident in that, Alec?
Because he has this amazing edit, and because Rick Devens, he's a gamer, dude. You know what I mean? He's a gamer. He's like a Ben.
Definitely.
Next episode, guarantee you, he either wins immunity, finds another idol.
Oh yeah.
Guaranteed.
Yeah, you're probably right. That's true.
Guaranteed. And he'll play it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Correct.
That's everybody's.
And we're gonna sit here looking like losers next Wednesday because we're laughing at you right
Won't go
now.
home, dude. He won't go home.
I am not going to tell you how I feel about this because I might have lied to both of you anyway. So, you know. All right. Alexa, let's just get our number 2 out of the way since we both have the same one. Victoria.
I did a bait and switch. Julie's
Oh,
my
you
number
did.
2.
So you lied to me.
Oh,
I did. I'm really sorry. Alec convinced me, and now I switched everything. I have Rick moving somewhere else.
So you don't have Victoria at number 2 anymore?
I don't. I have Julie at my number 2.
Okay. Well, I'm going to talk about Victoria. No, I'm just kidding. Everybody who listens to this podcast, I'll spare you that for now. I'll talk about it when everybody else puts Victoria at number 5.
Phil, are you a Victoria fan? That's new to me.
I don't know if
Can anybody? I just like I was expecting like her dad to like look identical to like me or my dad, and then her dad comes out and has like the dark hair and the tan skin, and I was like, the heck is this? Yeah. But anyway, I love Victoria. Victoria's gonna win this season, and I'm gonna keep saying it. And when she does win, Alec, you're the first person I'm calling. You might be near me anyway, but I'm gonna be calling you on the phone, even if you're standing right next to me, to tell you Victoria won. So
I will. All right. Well, I'll just buy you a beer if she wins.
that works, man. That works.
That's good.
I'll buy you a pitcher.
Oh,
A pitcher.
A pitcher and a pizza.
Yeah, pitcher and pizza.
Pitcher and a pizza.
Oh my God. I'm gonna.
Victoria either. Love her, but I just don't think she's winning.
But now I could get a pizza and a pitcher, and that sounds wonderful.
That's huge.
That sounds wonderful. I'll give you a piece of the pizza.
What is that? Okay. There's a huge. Oh yeah, I for sure want a piece.
Yeah.
There's a huge thing outside my window.
It's like a
Like,
It's like a beetle bee.
It's like
Anyways,
an
oh God.
that's not what the podcast is about. So we're going power rankings number 2. So you guys both are no. Alexa's Julie.
Alexa,
yeah.
what's your take on Julia?
I think Julie is. I think Ron being gone is actually going to be good for her. And yes, I'm big on like you need a best friend, but she and Lauren have worked together before. I think that bridge between her and Rick is pretty over, considering he like absolutely destroyed her in front of everybody. But I think she's going to be an open agent, and I don't think she's going to be emotional. I think she had that one emotional episode, and now everyone thinks she's like fans think she's crazy, but she's not. She's really smart. And I think she knows that she can be used this vote. And there's either going to be 6 or 7 people voting. Everyone's going to need a number. And I think Julie can be that person.
What have you guys? What about girl alliances this deep into the game?
That's what I think.
I know, because there's only 2 guys.
Especially because Lauren and Julie had a heart to heart, and they really looked like they deeply looked into each other's souls, and they decided that they
Heavy eye contact.
heavy eye contact, and I felt it in my soul. And I think that's carrying.
Would be gnarly. Only the thing is, I don't think Aurora would be a part of that.
I feel
Aurora
like
and Julie have a bit of a problem, it seems like.
And I feel like Aurora was used this week because she had the extra vote.
Yeah.
And they needed to use the extra vote this week. And I don't think that she's going to be this Powerpuff Girls thing might be wrong, because it should be Julie who is actually Bubbles, and not, which wouldn't make sense, but it should be Julie instead of Aurora.
Yeah.
Because I think Aurora might find herself on the outside again. I thought it was really weird last week. They said Aurora is setting herself up to win this game. I forget who said that, but somebody said that.
I think Julie said that.
And I was like, since when? Like, who's been willing to work with Aurora?
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was because I think she said Aurora's is being set up to win this game because she hasn't pissed anyone off, which like we haven't seen. But then we also saw her and Ron like hating each other last week. So they're right in that in terms of like jury management and actual like gameplay. It doesn't seem like she's pissed anyone off. It just seems like people, I guess, now are starting to like her. But that's true. I mean, Aurora's got she's got like the challenge beast thing going on, which people obviously really respect. So I guess like Aurora's, she's a threat too. Everyone left is.
The problem is, I think she might go home next episode. Actually, I'm pretty sure she is.
Whoa,
More
spoilers,
confidence.
Huh?
Spoilers.
6.
What?
Skip to 6. Yeah.
And now,
But we have Edge of Extinction to think about.
Dot.
but here's
More than that.
here's the biggest problem now.
He's like, oh my god.
No,
He's like, you suck at these.
no. The thing that the biggest problem is, Alec, is because we all know you're right. Now we're all just going to put Aurora at 6, and now everybody knows our 6.
No. Just rewind.
My 6 is different.
Wait, but Kara, you know he's right now, so you have to change yours.
I will keep Aurora where I have her. I will keep
You
her.
guys keep her there. I was just saying, I think. I didn't say it. That's my power rankings.
Oh.
You guys know what I've written down on my PRs?
No, but PRs.
He has nothing.
It's just
Let
a
me just go
dead,
over
dead
power-
blank
my
piece of
power
paper.
ranking too.
Literally, it's 2 different lists, 1 through 6, and there's nothing except for RD.
No. Let me just go to my number 2. All right.
Please.
We're ready.
Okay. So for my number 2 on my PR list, I have Gavin.
Okay.
What's Gavin's last name?
Whitson.
Whitson.
Okay. I have
What's an
GW.
RD again?
Rick Devens.
Rick
Rick
Devens.
Oh, I gotta write down all your acronyms. I'm getting confused.
So RDGW.
oh, here we. Okay, got it.
Yeah. Do you want to know why? Or
Give us your Gavin take.
okay. I just think he's too big of a character to go home. It sounds stupid. Gavin won't go home. He just won't go home.
I think what's funny is you're saying Gavin's too big of a character, and on your season, Gavin would have been the least edited character on the entire season, even with the edit he's gotten on this season. That's how like ridiculous it is of a gap between the 2 seasons. So it's funny that Gavin is over edited because he's had like 2 or 3 episodes in a row where he was good, and I think he had 4 pre-merge where he didn't say a word. It's really interesting.
He but beyond him being a big character, I think he has good, like you said. You know what? I made a comment. Has he won an immunity? He's won immunity, right?
Yeah,
Twice.
Yeah.
He's won immunity twice, and no one batted an eye.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You're just like, whatever.
Yeah.
They're proving the point that he's the winner.
You know what I mean? Like,
That's a really good point because everyone's flipping out about Aurora and Rick getting immunity.
Right. It's like, but no one's mentioned anything about Gavin. He's just kind of like the slow,
Because
silent assassin.
he's friend. Like, he's the only dude left on the island that all the girls are probably chill with and can connect with. They're like, oh, it's just Gavin. Like Nick, you're like, oh, it's just Nick. He's just Gavin, dude.
But does everybody think that that's because they can just beat Gavin at the end because he hasn't done anything?
He
But-
has done stuff.
But he has done stuff.
Probably what they think in their heads. But so let's so that's my number 2.
Okay. Okay. Kara?
My number 2 is Lauren for the reason that she has an idol, like you guys mentioned. I still think Gavin's number 1, but Lauren is at number 2. Yeah, because she has an idol and she's kind of in the good graces of everybody. And I just don't see her going home next week. And she's been playing a good game.
Good.
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 Like that.
Yep.
You have Alec's approval on that.
Stamp.
You ready, Alec, for my number 3?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Wait,
please?
okay, hold on. So you already put Victoria and you put
I went Lauren, then Victoria.
yeah. So your number 3, if I'm doing my math correctly, is
My calculations are correct.
Is Julie, that's what you have?
for you.
That's what you have.
Maybe.
I have Rick Devens at number 3.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I haven't changed anything, and I'm not going to change where I have Aurora this week. But Alec, we see eye to eye a lot more than you think we see eye to eye. No spoilers here, though. But I have Rick Devens at number 3. I think Rick Devens finds a way this week. He's too big of a character. I still think somehow he doesn't win this game. But if he doesn't make the finale in the game, I'm going to be absolutely floored. So I got Rick Devens at number 3. I don't know. I just think he finds a way one more week to make it happen, and then they get him early in the finale like they did with Jay.
Okay.
There you go. Sorry for the surprise, although Julie might be coming up soon.
Number 4.
we are halfway through.
Yeah.
So no number 3s.
Who
Okay.
wants to go?
Alexa?
I have Victoria at number 3. Which I mean, like, has her kind of halfway, but I think she's totally fine. I think she's similar to Julie in that she can work with anybody, and the difference or what's advantageous for her over Julie is that she has worked with everybody, and I think her and Lauren, like, even though they just connected this episode, I think they'll stay together for a while. I think for whatever reason, I think their games really gel well together. But she's someone who I think she's the one who came up with the idea last week, and she ended up not voting for. I watched it at like 6 a.m. Like,
I'm just saying it was
not watching
definite.
appropriately.
Definitely.
Well, I didn't pay attention. I was watching it at like 6 a.m. And but she ended up not voting that way to probably make it seem like she was still on Ron's side, which is awesome. So she's playing quietly, and if she gets there, I think she'll have a really good argument. It's just whether or not people see that. But going back to where she is now, I think she I think she's in a great spot. I don't think anyone wants to get rid of her. I think Vic will be fine.
I just had to confirm. I had the same thing as you, Alexa. Victoria is number 3 for the same reasons. And I agree. At Final Tribal, I think that a lot of things, if she went to the Final 3, she's very good at vocalizing what she has to say. And I think that she is a player that can do that in a way that's very effective. Depending on who she's with. I don't know if she'd win or not. But yeah, I agree. I think she's safe. And that was her idea. She decided not to go with it for a good reason.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
You have the floor, Alec.
I have so much to say about Victoria. It's killing me. Go, Alec.
Here, let me. Here you go. All right. My number 3 is Lauren. I don't know her last name, so I put L.
O'Connell.
O'Connell, yeah.
L-O.
So L-O.
Hello.
But so with just, or do you want me to tell you? You guys have already said, because the whole idol thing, and I really don't think she's in a bad. No one's even mentioned her name really. She hasn't won any immunity challenges. She's not a threat. She has an idol if she ever, she has great connections, blah, blah, blah. Here's what we really want to talk about, Victoria. So you know why? You know what? You want to know why I don't think Victoria can win?
Because she's playing too well?
No. Because even though I think she's played a good game and she's good at getting her point across, right? So you guys are like, oh, she's good at talking at tribal council or whatever. She's been in on every vote, but in Survivor you have to do so. You have to find some idols or play some advantages, or even if it's not your advantage, get someone to play something. Right? You have to do something kind of flashy. Here's why I'm saying this, because think about it. Final Tribal is going to consist of 4 past players that can see through the bullshit and be like, "Yo, what have you done? We've played this game before." I'm just saying, dude. We're going to ask some heavy questions, and she's going to have to pull out some heavy answers. And just being like, oh, I was in on every vote ain't going to cut it.
Carol, go.
I don't know.
Because Survivor is awesome in the fact that it's great to have the idols and the immunity wins, but it's also really impressive to get to the end and be able to be like, yo, I was in on this. Remember when I said that to you? Remember when I told you this and I knew that before you did?
But
I told you that. I think she can go.
Hold on. I'm saying that's one aspect of the game. The other aspect is risk and reward. You have to take some level of risk in Survivor. What winner went to the end and didn't have any risk?
Michelle Fitzgerald.
No, I'm saying, but oh, come on, get out of here. You won immunities. Winning immunity is a risk because you're putting yourself out there as a challenge there, and you now have to lower that threat level by playing a great social game.
Are you ready?
She hasn't won anything.
Which is even more impressive.
One big
you could see it.
It's not a great thing because people, now you're even less on their radar, and it just makes you be able to coast through even more.
I need a bag of popcorn.
I love this, but I also need to defend so badly. My God.
Boom!
Here we go. All right.
But again, it's impressive that she's never had to win an immunity and still stayed and never gotten a vote.
No, I don't think that's impressive.
I do.
I don't.
Well, guess who I agree with? I agree with Kara, okay? I agree with
there
Kara.
It is.
And here we go. Okay, so guy who commented that you're tired of listening to me and 7 or 8 people who upvoted that comment, turn off now.
X out now. Everyone leave now.
Here we go. The thing with Victoria is if she sits at the final tribal with Julie and Lauren, nobody is articulating why they should win this game better than Victoria is going to articulate.
We were talking broad.
But I'm just saying, too, you said you have to have advantages, you have to have idols, all these flashy things. How many were played so far this season, Alec? At finals 6?
I didn't say you have to. I said you have to not only be in on the vote, you have to have some part of your game has to flashy, but has to be like look at
yeah, bye, Kara.
Okay.
Alex showing
He didn't play any
of your podcast.
This is my ship now.
Wardog didn't play any like idols or advantages, but his game was just more I don't know the word. Let's Google a word for flashy.
Well, it's more exciting for the jury. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna Google. You guys keep arguing.
Like,
but here's my thing. The people who are left in the game, other than Rick Devens, who I think, despite being voted out, has played the best game because his back's been against the wall. He's articulated it best to the jury. Other than Rick Devens, Nobody out of the 5 left in the game is going to give a better final tribal council speech than Victoria. And even if they have made more moves than her, they're not going to be able to articulate it to the jury the way they want to hear it, the way Victoria is going to. I think Lauren, it comes down to that her argument is going to primarily be based around once Kelly went home, that was my closest ally, and then my back was against the wall. But she's lying because it really isn't. Nobody has brought her name up. Aurora is not going to be able to make a compelling enough argument to turn all of their opinions. I think Julie is going to let the moment get to her too much because we've seen how some of the moments can get to her too much and she gets too emotional. And then I think Gavin, who's going to have the best argument against Victoria, is going to just be out-talked by Victoria. And I think we're going to see a Michelle versus Aubrey type situation where Victoria ends up winning something that she maybe shouldn't have won.
Jazzy, glittery, gaudy.
You don't think that? Okay, I'm not agreeing with you.
But you're not yelling.
Oh, you're not disagreeing.
I don't disagree that she's a great person, that's a great talker, right? I'm a great talker too, so I can relate.
I am the best talker.
The best final tribal speech. It would have been me. However,
duh.
No, I don't know. Like, okay, so her against Lauren, like what is she gonna? So it's just her whole game was, it depends on the final episode too. Maybe she wins some immunity challenges. Maybe she wins a reward and takes some people. And right now it's just been this like social game that's been really good. But her name's never been once mentioned. Which that's really good. That's like that's hats off to you but I don't know. It's more. I think you have better chances when you are a threat, or not a threat, but when your back's against the wall, or when people are throwing your name, at least one vote. If people have thrown your name out there at least one time, and then you somehow manage to make it past one more, and then maybe the next 2 weeks your name's not on the chopping block, but her name's never been out there once. It's like.
For me, it's like polar opposites. Like you're either always on the chopping block or never on the chopping block. That's impressive. Like if your name's been thrown out once, it's like, okay, well, that was like you were the vote then, but not any other time. So like to have a perfect record, it's not like easy, but it's not always easy to voice at every tribal council. So that's something you have to that's when you have to like go really in depth about like all the conversations that have been had that not everyone knows about.
I like the differing perspectives here because Kara, you did almost get to the end without getting votes, right? And Alec was target right from the merge. So I like how we're butting heads here. This is fantastic.
This is fun.
Wow.
2 different games.
Yeah.
All right. Who? I guess, should I do my number 4 since it's Julie and I kind of already said it was going to be Julie?
Oh, yeah. Julie.
I like Julie. I just don't think she's ultimately going to win. I thought she had a really cool moment with her husband last week, and I liked when she asked her husband if he was okay because it's like she's the one who's been starving for 30 days. So I love those little moments, and I really I like Julie, but I feel like Julie wasn't integral enough in this episode so close to finale to actually be somebody who's going to win. And I think that what most of this jury knows about her, because you have a lot of Manu people there, despite the fact that they all went home pre-merge, what all of them only know about Julie is what they saw at Tribal Council, which definitely isn't a good look. So I feel like Julie's going to be somebody who get to the end and maybe get 1 or 2 votes because she has Ron and she has some other allies, but I don't think she wins it. So number 4, don't really see her going this week, but I think out of Victoria, Lauren, and Rick, I think they're less expendable going into a finale than Julie is.
I have the same number 4 as you, Phil.
And what's your take on Julie, Kara?
And it's the same thing. Yeah, like she's going to be a good swing vote. So she's going to be able to slip back in with the girls. But yeah, it's not like she's a super power player because now that she doesn't have Ron, it's, a lot of her power in the game has been him. So I don't think she's an immediate target, but I don't think that she's going all the way to the end. And if she does, she's going to have, again, a very hard case to plead. So
yeah,
at about 4.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Thanks, though.
Alexa?
I have Gavin at 4, and I could be tempted to put him higher. For a while I was super nervous that Gavin would go home, but what I love about him is there are the obvious Nick comparisons, but Phil, I think you and Vonda talked about this week, but he seems like someone who doesn't have the killer instinct, but he voted out his closest ally the first chance that he was able to. He voted out Eric, which for a while, we weren't really sure if that was a good move or not, but he got back on his feet really quickly after that. And he gets his honeymoon. Ron gives him his honeymoon, and he still extra votes him out. So Gavin's playing that killer game, but he's so damn nice that it doesn't look like he is. And right now, that's really, really good. And then come Final Tribal, assuming he gets there, he'll be able to say that, but with like this adorable smile on his face, and everyone will love it. Yeah, it's amazing. I loved Gavin this week. He was fantastic.
Alec,
What you got?
So for my power rankings list, number 4, I put Victoria.
Are we
No,
going
you know her
to
last
talk
name?
about her?
Julie.
Oh,
He's actually
you went-
making his list.
No,
Absolutely.
you're going to put Victoria at the bottom, aren't you?
Yeah, he's trolling hard.
What's Julie's last name? It's like
Rosenberg.
Rosenberg. No.
They are.
How did I forget that? Okay, yeah, JR.
JR. Ooh, like that.
Do you
one.
well,
Junior.
that's the
I
same
put
as
Junior on number 4.
I like how Kara jumps in and is like, my number 4 is the same as yours, Phil. And Alex like, I want my moment here so I can talk about Julie all by myself.
This is my Julie party.
Yeah. She's not. I don't think she's going home next week. I don't think she. All right, let's move. Let's move.
All
on.
right. Yeah,
Okay.
wow. Okay.
Moving on.
All right. I'm gonna say that number 5, if Edge of Extinction is this week, which I'm still not sold on Alec here,
It is.
but he's saying it is. Okay. So
So
if
therefore-
Edge of Extinction is this week, my number 5 is Mr. War Dog, or whoever the Edge of Extinction returnee is, which is Mr. War Dog. That's who I think. I don't think they gun for the person who comes back from Edge of Extinction right away if it's at Final 7, which would be here. Because if they come back at Final 7, you can use them as a swing to possibly get out somebody right away, especially since I think Rick Devens finds a way to win immunity again this week. And so whoever comes in from Edge of Extinction, War Dog's really the only one who's a threat. And since the odds are so low for him to win, why would you get rid of that Edge of Extinction person right away? So I like having this person at number 5 as possibly joining in with Lauren, Victoria, and whoever else is really aligned with Lauren and Victoria, because I think that's the only real alliance at this point. So
Yeah, it's crazy that they're technically in the final 6, and then someone comes back in, and basically someone just loses their spot. Boom,
Yeah.
gone. And then that's the final 6. I mean, if you want to look at it that way, but
it's interesting.
So, okay.
Alexa?
My number 5 is Aurora. I feel like she's finally has her footing with some form of alliance. Like we saw her in Victoria, we saw her with Lauren. Her going through Rick's bag and not caring was like the best scene ever. And he was like, "This is when you're supposed to be embarrassed," but she was like, "I'm not," and he had no idea how to handle it. And it was great. That was such a good back and forth with them. And I think that that kind of works for her. I think people assume that she's going to be nervous because she hasn't had an alliance for a while, or be embarrassed for being caught red-handed, but she doesn't. And I think that's really good for this point in the game, when I think now everyone's been playing for so long. They've been out there for 31 days. Everyone's kind of starting to lose her mind. I feel like she's not, but with that, I think with her extra vote being gone, I think that she loses a little social clout there. But I don't know. I think right now everyone's just gonna be going for Rick. But if Rick is safe, I think they naturally go for her.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
I do. I agree too. My number 5, I have Rick.
Okay.
Because this last week was super showy, and when he's under pressure, he does really well. So that's why it was hard for me to put him further down, but he's such a huge target that it doesn't always pan out. Like when you know that you're on the line and your goal is to just find an idol or win immunity, those are two things that are just not sure. Those are very, they're variables in the game. So I don't know. He's got a really good social game, which is going to save him, but I think that he's definitely at risk because of how strong his game is against everyone else. And this is the time where you look at each other and you're like, who do I want to sit next to? And everyone's like, not Rick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vic said that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's smart. So him and War Dog, where they both knew how strong their game was, and it was like, you guys are smart.
Yeah. And that's what War Dog had his great episode getting rid of Kelly Wentworth and immediately goes home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. See?
Yeah.
So then, did you leave room for the who's so if you put Rick, then who? That means someone's getting. Who do you think's getting voted out?
That's number 7. We're not even. We're on 5 still. I picked it up and then
Alec rapidly switches his notes.
No, I'm not. I'm because I'm saying, well, who's coming back from Edge of Extinction?
Which I'll get
because you have to squeeze that in the list. Because right now I have 5 and 6. So I have Aurora and Victoria left.
Are you trolling me, or are you going to actually put? Are you going to do this right?
No. In my head, I'm putting it on paper. That's how I do everything. So no, I'm putting Victoria at number 5. What's Victoria's last name, Phil?
Amandi or something like that. That's one I can't pronounce.
Cool last name.
BA. Okay. So yeah, I'm just putting her. That's like kind of likely to go home, right? Yeah. So, of course.
And why would Victoria go home this week, Alec?
Whoop.
Saved by the bell here. My
Saved
God.
by the alarm. Sorry about that.
Not this week. Maybe next week. Maybe
the finale.
The high likelihood she goes home next week.
No, she's not final 3 or even fire making. I think she's the 5th. So like Allison.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, last person voted out.
Who do you think turns on her? Like, who do you think first brings up Victoria's name, since you were saying like nobody's brought her name? Who do you think?
Here's what I think.
Yeah.
I think because Rick Devens stays in the game and numbers get smaller, and if Chris comes back in, I think Chris may team up. Maybe Rick brings him in, right? Mm. So I just think that Rick staying in the game. I think because Rick's gonna stay in the game, she'll Aurora's probably gonna get voted out. I think she'll get voted out. I think Rick and Gavin and maybe whoever. You know what? It doesn't matter, Phil.
And he would
stop.
Alex over here.
Are right.
Alex over here telling me that he would give the best final tribal speech. I've asked him 2 softball questions and he can't answer me.
No, I totally did because you know what? Because
you have the floor. You have the floor.
So yeah,
whatever.
And anybody who's only listening to this podcast,
argument,
go over to YouTube immediately so you can watch Kara's faces as Alec is making these points. They're fantastic, Kara. Do not stop.
I can't help it.
You know what? I'm gonna save this list. I'm gonna frame it and send it to you when my power rankings are right.
I have it all on a Google Doc right now, so don't worry.
This is a work of art. This needs to be framed.
So just wait.
Very impressive.
I mean,
you got to auction it off.
Yeah, don't worry, dude. This is gonna be right.
You've signed it a couple times.
So obviously, okay, yeah. So we know so now we're doing number 6, or we're doing the one who gets back from extinction, or is that 2 separate things?
Wherever you put them.
Depends where you want to put that person.
Yeah.
See, I put my Edge of Extinction person at number 5. And my number 6, which means my number 7, is probably very in line with Alec. My number 6 is Gavin, and my number 7 is Aurora. And I think Aurora goes home this week. I think that Rick Devens is going to win immunity. They're going to go to get rid of a threat. I think that the girls feel more trust in Gavin than they feel in Aurora. So they keep Gavin around this week, and Aurora goes home because even though she should be a GOAT, I think that people actually are a little worried that Aurora could possibly win this, and because she's so physically strong and really has done this entire game without an ally, which is impressive. So I think that this week they all turn on Aurora. Aurora goes home, and I think the finale starts off with Mr. Rick Devens being sent back.
Wow. Nice.
Alexa, what do you got?
So I have the Edge of Extinction returnee at number 6, and I think it'll be Eric, and I don't really know why. I think he was voted out early merge. He got a big time emotional and long confessional. We haven't heard from him since, but I think Alec, you were the one who said this. The Edge of Extinction returnee probably doesn't win the game because they haven't no one's gotten attention for that long. So Eric kind of falls in with Kelly and Aubrey, where he got a lot of love early on and now he's not there. But I don't know. I think he'll do well in whatever the challenge is. I think he'll be suited for it. And I don't know. I guess I don't have a real reason for why I think he'll get in. But I assume he gets back in and maybe survives. Maybe he and Gavin reconnect. Or maybe he's like Rick and he's really pissed off, understandably, at the people who vote him off. So I think whoever comes back is in a pretty rough spot unless they get another something advantage, but I don't think they will this time.
No, they won't be handed something this time. They'd at least have to find it, but there will still probably be an idol or something out there that they could go find if they want to. But you know, I like it. Eric, so we have 3 different people right now coming back from Edge of Extinction. So Kara.
I think we all have somebody different, but my Edge of Extinction is not 6th. I'll get to that when I get to it. But my number 6, I have Aurora for similar reasons that have just been mentioned. But don't laugh.
Edge of Extinction. No, I'm just kidding.
It's Reem.
He off my chest and then laughing at it. Even though I'm the one that's silently right. Okay, so Aurora at number 6 because I agree. I think that she's in a vulnerable enough position because she doesn't have her extra vote. She doesn't really have like a super strong alliance, but she is strong in challenges, strong enough to where people are now realizing that they don't necessarily want to take her. They don't need to take her because she's not like super on their side. And at this point she needs to have established like some sort of trust. So I think that she's on the chopping block, but I don't think that she's going home. Yeah.
Okay. Because of Edge of Extinction.
Yes.
But you don't want to say who that is. Alexa, did you even talk about Rick Devens being at number 7? Because Alec didn't react.
It's implied, but yes, I do directly have Rick Devens at number 7 to put that out on the table. And I didn't want to switch because I didn't want to pander. But
loser.
I don't want to pander, but I also don't, and this is only my fault. I don't factor in like the possibility of him getting an idol as like making him more safe because I think Gavin could find it. I think Lauren's already found it. I think Vic could find it. So I think any of them could find one. And we see Rick like screaming like a chicken with his head cut off, just like sprinting through the jungle in that preview, which makes me think people are all going to be looking for it at the same time. So in that case, anybody could get it.
It's anyone's game.
But if Rick wins immunity and he gets an idol, like, yeah, he's
then
golden.
Yeah, then he's at least
then he's golden. Yeah.
That's the scary part right now is if he wins immunity and finds one idol, he's sitting in final 5, probably going to final 4 with at least a chance to make fire.
Boom. Okay, so I put number 6. I put CU.
Okay.
Chris Underwood.
You back.
Yeah.
Back on the island.
You back on the island. No.
Oh man.
Oh God, I'm upset.
See you on the island.
Okay, yeah. Because he's going to be back on the island.
Yeah, see you on the island.
Oh,
yeah. And it's his initials. Yeah.
Oh yeah, see you.
That's what happens when I try to make a joke.
Jokes are always better when they're explained, right?
Okay, so yeah,
let me just walk you through this joke real quick.
because was it really that good?
I thought it was pretty funny.
I thought it was good.
Thanks guys.
Okay.
8 out of 10
It
jokers,
starts when it goes
me.
over your head and then you're trying to catch up. So it's like,
It got better as Kara explained it further.
I put CU because he'll get back in, but he won't be voted out right away.
why won't they vote him out right away since he's actually a pretty strong challenge competitor and he's a pretty good guy?
My number 7 obviously is Aurora. I don't know her last name.
McCreary?
Okay.
Yeah.
It's my initials. Because
Winner.
Aurora has been she's been a challenge beast. She's won 2 now. Almost won, well, not almost, but she looked like she was about to win the one last week. So I think one more immunity or people are gonna be like, I think that's gonna come back, that's gonna circle back around. Like, dude, remember she was winning immunities. We need to get her out before it's too late. I think if she loses this week, she's out.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Chris, they're thinking Chris, yeah, he's a challenge beast, but people are probably thinking the same thing I'm thinking, which is how do you plead a case at the end? Even if he wins every immunity, or at least even if he wins a week or 2 weeks, we can still take him out. So I don't think they're thinking about that. They're like, let's get out a challenge beast who also has somewhat of a chance.
It's crazy too, though. If Chris does come back, he is so obviously the challenge beast of the season because everybody, like, it's not a very physical final 6 at all. So whoever comes back from Edge of Extinction might be the favorite to win every single immunity challenge from here on out.
And Rick Devens have done super good. And Chris lost to Rick Devens in that other one. And I've done that snake thing before.
Perception is everything, though. They're not viewed as challenge beasts, although they're doing well in challenges. So that leads me to my number 7, who I think Joe's getting back in the game and immediately is getting voted out.
Yeah.
That's what happened at the merge. Everyone looked at each other and they were like, who do we need to get out now? It's Joe. So I think that he's going to have a chance to get back in. He's going to win it. And then he's going to get there. And then he's going to realize, like, oh, shit, they're all against me again because they know they can't take me.
No.
Honestly, that's probably the most likely. Like, everyone's like, oh, yeah, these people are good at challenges. All 4 of us, it's someone different. But Joe.
But Joe, everyone can be in agreement. Like, yeah, we talked about it before we even came on this island. Like, Joe's good at challenges.
He won't get back in. He won't.
War Dog's gonna beat Joe in the challenge, and War Dog's coming back in. I've been saying it since before the season started, and I'm saying it now.
Joe's not coming back in.
It's gonna be you have to throw a beanbag at least 20 miles an hour, and War Dog's gonna do it first out of everybody else.
Doesn't matter where the beanbag goes as long as it's 20 miles an hour.
Hard. Yeah.
Poor War Dog. But yeah, I like the Joe pick. I feel like if Joe was going to get back in, I feel like they would have played him up more on this season than they did because he has gotten one of the worst edits out of any returning
he's even on this season
ever.
I know.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't need to agree. You guys know my list is right, but I'm just That's all.
You're just making conversation at this point.
Sure. I got a captain break. Keep going though.
Oh yeah.
Okay, good.
Right.
Kara, now you can tell us how you really feel.
All right, Kara, you have the floor. Now that he's trying to steal the camera from you.
Now that Alex only in the next room, I'm going to say everything.
Yeah.
No, I think that we are all pretty. I mean, give it or take a couple. We're all kind of on the same page. But no matter what, have you guys already said your 7s?
Yeah, we did. We
They
did.
voted out next week. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be. I don't know. It's going to be very interesting. But I think whoever's getting to the final 6, there's going to be. I think once they get to the final 6, it's going to be a solid 4 that carries through.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be the girls.
That's what I think too. But
I think you're right because the girls don't want. No one wants to work with Rick, and I think if it gets to 4 girls and Gavin's gonna be like, oh shit, I'm like by myself now.
Don't tell Alec or my listeners, Kara. But if it's the final 4 are girls, it's got to be Victoria, right? Like, it has to be.
No.
I can.
Oh, Alec, you're back.
Well, so what did we discuss while I was going?
Everything that I didn't get to say while you were here.
All right.
Well,
it's tough.
Pretty much that does it. That's everything. So do you guys have like a hot take that you want to get to here that we didn't get? I mean, Alec's whole power rankings are a hot take.
Give us a hot spoiler.
I mean, my whole power rankings are a hot spoiler. Yeah. So Rick, Devens, and Gavin are for sure final 4.
Mm-hmm.
Gavin's for sure final 3.
Who's your final 3? I'm going to write this down.
My final 3?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and throw Gavin in there. You can put Lauren in there. And Rick Devens.
All right, there it is.
Kara, who's your final 3? Give me a realistic one, please.
For sure, Gavin. Shoot, Victoria.
Go on.
Pandering to the Jerry.
I'm tossed between Lauren and Julie. But I'm going to commit to.
Julie.
I'm going to commit. God, I'll commit to Lauren. I think she's more of a final.
All right, so Lauren's getting in. Lauren and Gavin are getting in.
Yeah, I mean, my final 3 are the final 3.
That's true.
I just don't see, the only problem with your final 3 is how do Rick and Gavin both get there? That's like David Wright and Adam sitting next to each other, or David Wright and Jay sitting next to each other. Like, how does that happen?
Wait, David Wright.
Is that like David Wright and Jay? I don't think so.
That would have been crazy if the 2 of them both made it to the final 3. That would have been insane. How does that happen? Nobody.
Right, but I feel like these 2 aren't like super aligned. I think Rick getting to final 3 is
Fire, dude. Fire. Who's the final 4 in that? That's how we figure it out.
Yeah.
I mean, your final 4. Well, who loses fire and who do they lose to? We're asking the important questions now.
Yeah. I think either Julie or Victoria. No. Julie's in fire.
Okay.
I think Julie loses fire.
2.
I do too.
To Lauren.
To Lauren.
To Lauren.
I think she loses it to Victoria.
Really?
Yeah.
And you think
Victoria's the one that you don't want in the final 3, but she ends up getting in there.
Okay, there you go. See, you heard. I mean, Kara, I'm not even going to say I agree. I'm just going to sit here with a smile.
That's Kara's take.
Yeah.
Alexa, has your opinion changed at all on your final three since the last time we do this? Since the last time I asked you.
The last time I did it, I gotta look at my notes.
Oh, Alexa's got like a whole notebook. I don't have.
Oh yeah, this is what like.
I changed my mind a little bit.
You did.
Weaseled.
Oh yeah, Rick's winning and Vic is definitely not gonna win. I don't know. What was my final three? I have no idea. Do you remember, Phil?
It was Lauren.
It was Lauren,
Julie. I don't even know who your other person was. Well, Alexa doesn't
Lauren,
remember.
Julie, and Vic. Yeah. I'm still like fairly with that. I think Gavin has more of a shot now. I was convinced that Gavin was going to go home for like the past month, but yeah, I'll stick with mine. I'm feeling mine.
Victoria is going to beat Gavin in fire, and Lauren and Julie are going to be sitting there at final three waiting for the winner of that. And Victoria is going to come and she's going to win. That's what's going to happen.
You think Victoria versus Gavin in fire?
Yeah.
Victoria versus Gavin in fire. And who's in the final three for you?
Lauren, Victoria, and Julie. And I think that the reason that they keep showing us.
So who picks who?
Oh, so I think the reason they keep showing us all these fire quotes from Lauren is because she actually wins the final four immunity to send somebody to fire. And so it's like she's the one determining it.
So she takes Julie and sends Gavin, or sends Gavin.
She sends Gavin and Victoria to make fire, hoping that they both lose, because they'll both win. And instead, Gavin loses and Victoria wins.
On the fire making challenge, nobody can do
The
it.
flags go up at the same time. They go.
Yeah.
Which one's the coin now?
And,
I'm so confused. Final four.
and for the first time, like the person that everybody wants to win the final four fire making challenge is going to win the final four fire making challenge. And so we don't have to hear like robbed whoever for the entire off season.
Robbed goddess.
Which Kara.
They don't have to have fire PTSD like I do. So that would be
There you go. So that's it. We have a whole thing there. I wrote everything down, and Alec, when this week Rick Devens goes home and he's like your guaranteed winner here.
We'll see about that, bro.
We'll see about it. But
oh yeah, can you guys text us a picture of that happened? It's unreal.
What happened?
Spoiler.
Always all cap spoilers.
I think this is a state right here. I don't know what.
That's it. The edge of
Good
extinction.
luck.
Hello. What is that? A bird?
Yeah, it's a bird.
It's not a bird.
that's a bird.
That's cute. Is it a bird? It looks like an arrowhead.
Oh yeah, no, that's a bird. I get it. It's diving down into the water.
Thank you, Phil.
Yeah.
I got you. I can see it.
So I think that.
And I drew it with my eyes closed. If that's
It looks like it.
It looks like it. Well, we'll see next episode, all right? We'll see, guys.
We shall see.
We shall see. And everybody, don't forget, if Victoria wins this season, I'm getting my second pizza from Alec Merlino, and I'm getting a pitcher of beer this time. So, so much to look forward to.
Not going to happen.
Not gonna Any parting thoughts before Alexa takes us home?
Any more spicy takes? Now is your last chance.
I just got to say I'm sorry for spoiling the rest of the season. But yeah, it's going to be great to watch.
Yeah, and Kara?
Kara, your thoughts?
Nothing. Alex's confidence is really just.
I have nothing to say.
No, I got nothing.
Nothing.
That's it.
Perfect.
Phil, any takes from you? Any rebuttals?
Just Alec's going to be wrong, and I'm going to be feasting on May 15th. I'm going to be feasting, and I'm going to be drunk. So let's go.
We'll see, bro.
Take us home, Alexa.
So next Wednesday at what time is it? 9 p.m. Pacific. Look on Instagram or Twitter for a war of social media between Phil and Alec. It's gonna be like Lauren who goes home and everyone's just gonna be super wrong.
Everyone knows.
Yeah, it's gonna be a disaster. In the meantime, follow us on Facebook, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram. We hit 4,700 subscribers on YouTube, which is super exciting. Become a patron of us. We just got 2 ridiculous Q&A questions for our next patron podcast. So if you guys want to ask us weird questions, just become a $5 patron and ask us anything. Or you can become a $20 patron, $10 patron, $1 patron, whatever you're into. And we'll be back next Wednesday. I believe, Phil, we're going to podcast on Pacific time. Is that true?
Whatever you want to do.
We'll be
do either.
podcasting on Pacific time, so I'm going to be super tired, but it'll be fine. And yeah, we're going to take a couple days off. Phil and Will are doing an amazing race podcast tonight, so watch that, and we'll be back on Wednesday. Thank you, Alec and Kara. We love having you guys.
Love you guys.
No worries.